Welcome back to the nationally syndicated Price of Business Show. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Always love it when we have Chris Kidd on the program, because invariably that means we're going to have great guests on the show. Chris Kidd, we call him the money man here on the Price of Business Show, bringing so much insight, both from his own experience and his own background, but in addition to the people that he simply works with and people that he knows, and as well as the guests he invites. And so he always co-hosts his segments whenever he visits me, with me, and today's going to be no exception. I do want to encourage people, check out Chris Kidd, it's KIDD.com, and phenomenal the work he does to help people with their money from a coach's perspective, and it really profoundly impacts people. It's wonderful. Chris, always glad to have you on the program. You got a great guest lined up for us today. Why don't you set the stage with that?
Yeah, so my guest today has a pretty good background from the entertainment industry and as an entrepreneur as well. She's done everything from modeling to TV shows to podcasts and all kinds of stuff. My guest is Christine Curran. She has several seasons already under her belt with one show that we'll talk about, but she's also in the process of getting ready to launch a new show that is very interesting. I wanted to share about that. Good to have you on, Christine. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really good to be here.
Christine, real quickly, a little bit about your current show, which is, I understand, has been on the Travel Channel, and what you've got coming.
We're filming for Travel Channel currently, but we have not aired on Travel Channel yet.
Got it. That's the new show. That's what's coming soon. Awesome. Very good. A little bit more about your background. Kind of give us that panoramic overview.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in entertainment my whole life. Right out of college, I started modeling, acting. I interviewed like 100 celebrities on the red carpet. I started a company, Fort Lickerdale Entertainment, where I booked over 800 models for fashion shows, music videos, and our famous Jell-O Shot girls, which were pretty popular. We had production companies fly in from LA to South Florida and film reality TV shows about us, and we did very, very well with that company for 13 years. And during that time, I really enjoyed the TV production side of things. Like, I've thrown huge celebrity events and fashion shows and all kinds of fun things, but my real love was the TV production side of things. So I wanted to figure out how to build a billion-dollar empire. And I thought, what are the things that I love to do? And I wanted to eat good food, and I wanted to travel because I was a young mom and didn't get to travel like all my friends. So I started creating a TV show that was around women empowerment, being around women that are more of my peers instead of me being the boss like I was to the 800 models, which I loved. You know, all the girls went on to become, to finish college working for me and take care of their children and all the cool things. But it's really nice to work with like-minded peers that are also doing big things that I can learn from and gain from. So I have a beautiful cast of women for both of my shows, Dining Divas and Destination Divas, of powerhouse women in different industries and different ethnicities and backgrounds. So it's really fun to get all the different perspectives on the food, on the travel, as we're moving around and trying new things.
Awesome. Chris?
So, Christine, you're currently, I believe, on season 4 of the Dining Divas. Is that correct? And on the WE channel?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the new one, Destination Divas, is going to be on the Travel Channel. What I guess would you say are some of the similarities and the process? What do you go through as far as the whole process of coming up with the concept, pitching the concept, getting sponsors, the whole process of putting together a show like this?
Sure, absolutely. Well, we are a sponsor-driven show because we do own our own IP. So we have a partnership with the networks, but we technically own all the content. So ultimately, we're building our own network, which is the Dining Empire, and that will be launched in 2024. And so with the Dining Empire, all of our shows, after they air on WeTV or Travel Channel, will then go back to our app, where you'll be able to watch them at your leisure, watch extended episodes. We have live streaming TV shows that are going to be on there. We're onboarding third-party shows, and ultimately, the Dining Empire is a more modern, hip, like fast-paced, entertainment-driven food and lifestyle network, because we really don't have that right now. Travel Channel itself is great, but they've been doing a lot of ghost stories, and Food Network is very political. It's like the same people over and over again. You see Bobby Flay, Gordon Ramsay, and Guy Fieri with like 10 shows, you know, yeah. And there's no women representation of food, or even like going out on the scene, really. And I mean, there's so many great craft concepts and fusion restaurants now that weren't here 10 years ago, and we'd like to show them at a high level is really our goal. So.
Well, and I love this from a business model perspective. By the way, my show got started in 2001 rather, and that was that started after years of me working as an employee to radio stations. And I got exhausted by it for the very reasons you're talking about. You know, they literally control every aspect of my content, and I have very little latitude, it felt crushing to me. And so now it seems like everyone's doing this. The number of people who have worked for networks or in a more controlled environment, if you will, with networks, and just gone out and launched their own media, which I think brings in, be it politics, be it lifestyle, doesn't matter. And it's a very interesting phenomenon. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, a lot changed with COVID. You know, everyone became a content creator. Things really blew up in that time period. And what happened was they took everybody out of the big box offices and all the big studios, and they all started working from home, working remote. And when COVID kind of cleared up, they didn't want to bring them back because the overhead is crazy. And then they're creating these shows, and sometimes they flop, and they invest all this money into shows that may not make it. So when you have third-party people going out, raising their own dollars, creating their own content, as long as it's quality content and you meet all the specs of the network, it's a win-win, because everybody's making money, everybody's happy, and there's no chance of loss, of loss of income for the network, because they didn't put out the money to create the show. So it's a lot of work on our end, like as far as, but also with our, sponsors, advertisers, and the stories that we tell, we give a lot of creative freedom to the people we're working with too, which the network doesn't give. So it's a win-win-win all the way around. It's a little more hard work on our end, but the fruits of our labor are definitely bigger and better on the longevity of it.
Absolutely. Chris?
Christine, speaking of sponsorships and stuff, so I guess with the dining divas and the destination divas, and how do you go about finding the right partners and finding like sponsors that would make a good partner for the show and for like maybe different locations as you're going to, or whatever you happen to be building around per episode, or is it per season that you build it around, or how does that work?
Yeah, sure. So we do start with like one major brand, and then we kind of build around that. So for instance, when we did New York, we happened to meet these brothers who have a really fascinating story. And one thing is, everybody has a story, right? So there's always a way to integrate people into the show and make it, authentic and fun and a great experience for the viewer. But these brothers, they've been in New York for a very long time, upstate New York. They just bought, I don't remember how many years ago, but they bought this winery that actually holds license #1 for growing grapes in the entire United States. So it's a really fascinating story, and we got to spend time on the winery. And then the other brother built an amazing Airbnb down the street from it that was like made out of like old church barnwood and all kinds of really cool things. And it's such a fascinating Airbnb. Like every little piece in there has a story and history. And so it was just such a cool experience. So we met them and we told their story and visited the winery and, tasted the wines and got to know about their whole family history. And then we kind of built from that. We added on Fire Island. We went to the really cool place where they have the live deer on the island, and we got to stay at the Fire Island Beach House, which is such a cool property on the water, and you have to take the ferry over. And we start to, call people and people hear about what we're coming to the city or we're coming here, and then people start reaching out to us. Like in Utah, we actually went to this farm where there's an oracle. She's gorgeous too, but this gorgeous oracle who does like horse whispering, and so we got to play with the horses and take them up in the mountains, and then she kind of ties in like your animal spirit, and so she was like on point when she talked about our animal spirits. she hit every single one of us on the nose. And like private information that nobody would know. You couldn't find if you tried to search us. So we were all just in awe, like our jaws were dropped at how it was such a great story. It was such a great experience, you know. So these are the kind of things we like to show on. So it's food, it's travel, it's experiences. It's a little bit of everything. Our Dining Divas is very much about restaurants, and so we come in, we do cocktails at the bar, which is usually a liquor or wine or something that sponsors that. And then we learn about that product and taste it and make fun concoctions with it. And then we go in the back, we cook with the chef, where we learn about the concept, we learn about the chef's history. We tend to get really impactful stories back there. That's always a fun moment for us to hear about the ways that they created the fusions or the concepts or what they went through or their family went through to make this happen. And then we come out and we dine with like a celebrity or an influencer. So we've brought a lot of cool people on the show. We've had Captain Lee from Bravo's Below Deck. We've had some of the girls from the Karma show, Bravo's Karma. We've had Latavia Robinson from Destiny's Child. I mean, with so many cool people that come and eat with us. And it just makes it a very fun, engaging experience for the viewer. So it's not just your plain, oh, look at the cool food. And there's a whole lot of entertainment aspects that we tie in.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Want you to just take a second before we go back to Chris with this next question to go ahead and give us the best contact information, the best website, if you will, for people to get more information about you and your work.
Sure, yeah. If you go to diningempire.com, you can click through to any of the TV shows there, and you can see some of the new stuff that's coming. And then you can reach us at contact at diningempire.com would probably be the best.
Very good. Chris?
So, Christine, you kind of touched on it earlier, but I guess when did you know that you had that entrepreneurial bug, and how did that all get started and everything? Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Even as a kid, I was always like a leader. So I was the youngest band captain at my high school. I skipped a grade and graduated early. So, I was leading a band of 130 people, back then and being younger than them. It's always kind of been in my spirit, like just to help guide and structure things. And I was, soccer captain. I was in the business association and was a secretary and ran that. Like, it's just something I've always kind of done. And I think that you really see where you fit in the world when you're younger, like the way that you behave around other people and how you move in groups. And so I've always had that team spirit and that leadership, quality. And so I just took that with me. And, I realized that women needed guidance and help. And I wanted to help more women, be successful in life. So I've always been about women empowerment. And, as a young single mom, I know the struggles. And so it's, been a very fruitful journey for me.
So talk a little bit about the target audience, if you will, for your new show.
Well, we're food, we're travel, we're all the fun things that I think all humans want, right? We want those experiences in life. So I don't know if there's so much of a target audience other than you got, if you're looking for new, cool places to dine or something interesting to experience, or, in this world, that's what we're here to do, is just bring so much different, opportunities and stories to the surface. So I feel like we are really for everybody. We're not bad to look at either. So we're all, divas in our own right, different styles, different, personalities. So I think we fit in with anybody, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chris?
Share a little bit about some of the locations that you have that you're going to be filming in, and what do you have scheduled for Destination Divas, as far as places you're looking forward to visiting and shooting the show at there? And are there any sponsorship spots available still, or is everything taken up already?
Oh, absolutely. Whether you're a brand, a person who wants to gain authority in your industry and dine with the divas, we have so many different ways that you can be integrated into the show. We just need to schedule a call and let's talk through it and see what your ideas are and how we feel that we can fit you in authentically and make it happen. But we're going to be we went to California, New York, Utah this year. We're going to Colombia, Dominican Republic, and Tennessee, and possibly the Exumas this coming year in 2024. So there's always ways to travel. Even if you're not like a part of the show as a sponsor, you can actually travel with us. Like we're doing the Napoleon Hill Mastermind Cruise in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. We'll be going to Mexico, and that's going to be on season 4. And so we have a bunch of people traveling with us, and we're doing a mastermind, self-development type cruise. So people are going to get to participate that way as well. So we always are doing fun things that are very positive, motivating type of TV as well. So you can always join our mailing list, and that way you get, updates on what's coming next.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're very creative, obviously, and bring a lot of different perspectives. And frankly, some of the stuff you say are stuff that's hard to find in some things that are media-driven, industry-driven. And so I can tell there's a nimbleness about how you're going to do this and how you are doing this that I think is really refreshing. Talk real quickly about your co-host, if you will.
Sure. I've got a lot of co-hosts, and they're all wonderful. They're all very unique. Tamara Davis, she's actually one of our partners now as well. She was a sponsor on last year's event in St. Lucia, our mastermind, and we just hit it off, and I'm always looking for good energy. So when I meet people that just align with my morals and values and we have fun together, then I, ask them to be on my squad. So I have her. I have Adora Evans. Adora Evans is out of Texas. She's actually been with Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill for 23 years. She's a huge self-development guru and works with like Les Brown and a lot of big names. And so she's been with us this year for the last year and a half. I've got so many great women. I've got Anna Maria down here in Florida, in Miami. She's a big TV host, interviewed lots of celebrities. She's been with me since the very, very beginning, 5 years ago. She's on our Florida Dining Divas series. We've got some new girls like Ingrid Morales, Kelly Desroches. They're down here in Florida, and they're both just movers and shakers. Kelly runs the Tower Club. It's a very prominent club here in Fort Lauderdale. So she's always meeting all the new people moving into Fort Lauderdale, as well as all the big wigs down here, Ingrid's in real estate. I mean, we just have such a beautiful cast of people. There's just so many great names and great personalities.
Yeah, sounds great. Okay, so with that, Chris, we're about to be playing Beat the Clock. It always happens so fast whenever we do our segments. Why don't you begin to wrap it up, and any final questions for our guests?
First I want to say, Christine, if y'all are ever in Houston, we're known for our restaurants here. So you'll have to let me know if you ever make it here and y'all are shooting one of the Dining Divas or anything in Houston. Why don't you wrap up real quick with one of your favorite stories from any of the shows?
We had a lot of fun when we had Dre London fly into Utah on a private jet and surprise us there at one of our filmings, and that's Post Malone's manager, and we got to taste his new tequila, which was delicious, and we just had a blast hanging out with him. So, you just never know what's going to happen in our world. Just the coolest things, and stories change, and we just we pivot all the time and just make an awesome TV show that we can't even imagine until we see the final product. So that's what I love about it.
All right, very good. Chris Kidd, always love having your guest on. Excellent segment as usual. Christine Curran, first time on, but Christine, I really hope to hear from you again. We really enjoyed this. And I am Kevin Price, and this is the nationally syndicated Price of Business Show. Stay tuned for more after this.